Hello and welcome to Cooking with the Cooks, Cuisine for the Quarantined, 2021 episode 4. We're going to make fajitas tonight. Now I know you can buy a kit and it's really easy, but when you make your own, I don't think you'll ever look back. So what do you get in a kit? Well, you get a spice mix, you get tortillas and you get salsa. We're going to make all those. Now the most, not difficult, but the most intricate part of this is making the spice mix. So let me tell you what you need. A tablespoonful of corn flour, two teaspoons of chili powder, 1 teaspoon of paprika, 1 teaspoon of salt, 1 teaspoon of sugar, half a teaspoon of onion granules or onion powder, half a teaspoon of garlic powder, half a teaspoon of cumin, and 1/4 teaspoon of cayenne pepper. Now it sounds a lot, but once you've bought it, you can probably make 20 or 30 mixes out of that. So I've mixed it up, it smells delicious, and I'm going to start rubbing it on my steak. Now, you can put it on chicken, that's fine if you prefer chicken in your fajitas. If you're going beef, don't waste your money on sirloin or anything like that, or ribeye. Get one of these. Look at that, Soph. That is skirt steak. Now you can get skirt or flank steak. It comes from the side of the cow here. This is the skirt, a bit lower down is the flank. And it's often underused. It's overlooked by lots of people. And that's because it can be tough. But I'm going to show you how to cook it so it's beautiful and tender. What I've done initially, I've scored it a little bit, and just so the rub can get in both sides. If you've ever been to France and had bavette steak, this is what you get, a piece of skirt. Now, 3 tips for cooking skirt steak. 1, cook it hot and quick. We almost want to scorch it and burn it, and when we get to that point, I'll show you how. 2, let it rest. Let it rest for as long as you've cooked it. And 3, and this is the most important one, cut across the grain in small strips. And you can't cook this more than medium, probably best rare or medium rare. Now if you look at the steak, the grain runs this way. If you cut it that way, it'll be tough and chewy. If you cut it that way, across the grain, it'll be lovely. Right, so we're going to get this mix on, this spice mix that we've done, and we're going to leave it for half an hour. Basically, we've got some jobs to do now, and then we come back in half an hour and finish it off. So get that on, rub it in. Once that's done, rub it, pat it in, push it in, make sure it's on both sides. It smells delicious. And we'll come back in half an hour. So that's that. Let's give the hands a quick wash. Right, next, what we're going to make next? We'll make our tortillas. Now, flour tortillas. So, make it in a bowl. I'm going to put it in the mixer. If you haven't got a mix, just mix it up yourself by hand. 375 grams of plain flour. In it goes. 3 tablespoons of vegetable oil. Get that in. A teaspoon of salt. Get that in. And 225 ml of warm water. Get that in. Now what you would do is mix that all together and knead it for about 5 minutes. However, I'm going to bob that in there and that do the work. So, that's that. We've got our tortillas on, we've got our spice done. The next, our salsa. So, I'm using tin tomatoes for this because we like a smooth salsa, and I'm going to use a food processor. Now, if you want to use fresh tomatoes, that's absolutely fine, and cut them up into small, very small chunks. So everything on here you can cut up into small chunks, but because we like a smooth salsa, I'm going to bob it all in. I'm going to try to bob it all in the food processor. So a tin of peeled plum tomatoes. In it goes. A chilli, different knife. Just 1 chilli, you can put 2 in if you like it, especially spicy. Put that in. A small onion, or half a large onion. Again, it's going to get chopped up in there anyway. So pop that in. 2 or 3 cloves of garlic, depending on how garlicky you want it. Pop that in. A handful of coriander, stems and all. Get that in. And pinch of salt, and finally the juice of about half a lime. Now what I've realised I haven't done is put that in, so put that in like that. Juice of half a lime, and pop that in. So what we're going to do is whiz this up. Now the more you whiz it up, the smoother it becomes. We quite like a smooth salsa, so if you want it chunky, just pulse it if you've got a pulse. You can do this with a stick blender, if you've got one of those. Just check on my dough. That's going on nicely. Just put it off there. Pop it back in. So if you're kneading that by hand, you need to knead it for about 5 minutes. Now there's no yeast in the dough because it's a flat bread, a tortilla, so you don't need any of that. So let's have a look. Where are we then? So make sure that's all combined. Can you hear me, Sam? Can you hear me? Have a look at that. That should be about right for us. So we'll blend that. Now at this point you would taste it. If it needs more salt, we can add more salt. If it needs more lime, we can add more lime. But I think that's beautiful. Probably I'm going to put a bit of chili powder in, just to heat it up a little bit. That'll do. Right, that goes in the fridge for half an hour. So, here we go, Soph. The tortilla dough is done. That should be enough. What I'm going to do is let that rest for half an hour, just so the gluten sort of relaxes a little bit. I'm going to cover it with a tea towel, slightly damp tea towel. And that's that. This goes in the fridge for half an hour. The meat's got the rub on for half an hour. So why don't you pop back in half an hour and we'll cook it all. See you in half an hour. Right guys, welcome back. We've had half an hour. That seasoning's gone into that skirt steak. I've got this cast iron griddle, but you can do it in a big frying pan. The most important part here is get it really, really smoking hot. Now this is going to smoke. If you've got a smoke alarm in your kitchen, you might want to open some doors and windows at this point. 2, 3, depending on the thickness, this is probably going to be 3 minutes each side, that's all. But it's got to be a smoking hot pan. So I'm hoping that's hot enough. I'm going to bob that in. Right, okay, we're going to give that a wash. So, 3 minutes each side, let's say. We'll see how that goes. I'm going to put the fan on because it's going to start smoking. See you in 4 or 5 minutes. Okay, so 3 minutes. Turn the fan off so you can hear. Come in close, so we'll turn it over. Now we almost want it to be a little bit charred, like that is, on one side. And then we'll get that cooking on the other side. So, there we have it, another 2 and 3 minutes, or 2 to 3 minutes on that side, and then we're taking it off. It's going to be quite rare for us. If you want it at sort of medium rare, go 3 to 4, 4 to 5, because they come in different thicknesses, you'll have to judge it yourself. But I think no more than another 3 minutes on there, and we'll be taking it off. See you in a bit. Right, we'll turn the fan off, because smoke's going out of the kitchen. The beef is rested, as you can see there, Soph. We're going to turn, as you can see there, Soph. We're going to turn to our tortilla. So, I've rolled them out into, I made 8 pieces out of the dough, rolled them out into sort of rounds. It doesn't have to be too accurate, and pop them in a dry, hot pan, no oil. Now they won't rise, they'll bubble up a bit, and we'll leave them for, I don't know, until you can sort of see that dough's cooking. There's probably some bubbles on the top. When you turn it over, there's little brown bits on the other side. Then we'll flip it over. Once we've done that, we'll wrap it in some foil and put a tea towel over it. That way we can do all 8 and keep them warm. So there's 8 tortillas from this recipe. Let's have a look. So you'll notice after about a minute or so, it starts to cook a little bit and bubble on the top. When you turn it over, you can start seeing little brown bits appear. Probably another 30 seconds on that side. Keep it warm in tin foil. When it's all done, it's time to enjoy your fajitas. See you in a bit. Right, welcome back. Time to serve up. So, we've finished the tortillas. Our steak's rested. I've got the salsa out of the fridge. We serve our tortilla fajitas with a bit of cheese. Got some sour cream with smoked paprika on the top, a bit of coriander, a squeeze of lime, some red onion and some lettuce. Now I'm going to cut into this. It should be rare in the middle. So if you look at that, perfect for fajitas. Just love. If you want it a bit more, the thing is it's thicker in the middle, so the further you go out, it's got something for everyone, this dish. So I like to, because I'm a bit of a show off, I like to carve it glory cooking at the table and put that there. We've got 8, still steaming, homemade tortilla. We've got everything there. Why not finish it off with a bit of coriander? That's it. It's a bit of a dinner party pleaser. Not that we can have dinner parties anymore, but when we can, even for the family, to say you've made it all yourself in the space of what, 20 minutes and a bit of waiting time, is just going to impress anybody who sits around your table. So that is homemade fajitas, homemade salsa, homemade tortilla, homemade spice rub, and that's on a skirt steak, and it'll be delicious with all the accompaniments. So join us next week when we don't know what we're doing yet. So if you've got anything you want cooking, pop it in the comments bar. Thank you all for watching. I hope you're all okay. In the meantime, stay safe, stay home, and keep cooking. See you next week. Bye-bye.